Hello everyone, I am Pallavi Sangle and I welcome you again in this Mains 2025 Current Affairs series. Today we are going to cover the topic of stampedes in India. Many a times this has happened and this comes under disaster topic of GS3 syllabus. Let us start. Also one more thing that we are not doing YouTube videos for all the current affair topics. For many topics we are just uploading the handouts on our Telegram channel. So please join Telegram channel and download all these handouts, get benefited, write very good answers in mains. Let us start today's topic. So for these kind of topics where disaster management is asked, we should always go for NDMA guidelines, NDMA definition, National Disaster Management Authority. So it defines stampede as a sudden uncontrolled movement of a large crowd, often leading to injuries or fatalities due to trampling, suffocation or crushing. Stampede is a man-made disaster and high crowd density is one of the important characteristics of the stampede. These are the in general causes of death, why deaths are happening in stampede, and we will see major events then causes of stampede. So for major events, we have latest event as Bengaluru RCB Victory Parade June 2025. So what happened that unofficial celebration by fans for RCB victory led to stampede and 11 deaths occurred. Then Mahakumbh Mela Stampede. Mahakumbh is known for its best practices for crowd management, but still stampede occurred due to barrier collapse during Holy Dip and 30 to 37 deaths occurred. Tirumala Temple Rush 2025 January. So there is a lot of people go for ticket in the early hours in Tirumala Darshan. So devotees push themselves in that crowd and stampede occurred. 6 deaths occurred. New Delhi railway station stampede happened. Hathras Satsang stampede happened. So these are the major things, major stampedes events in India. What are the exact causes of stampede? So this figure is taken from NDMA booklet only. So there are such structural failures, human errors, natural calamity. Circumstances is also one of the important causes of stampede. Let us suppose it is called FIST, F-I-S-T. This is a famous term in stampede management. So force, information, space and time. If any one factor goes wrong, if any one factor is exaggerated, let us suppose fake information. So it leads to overcrowding, it leads to stampede scenario. Then there is like panic or excitement. So this kind of interrelated diagram you can draw if the causes of stampedes are asked. Then what are the specific causes of stampede now? High crowd density. This is the prerequisite. If there is a high crowd density, then probably the stampede might be occurring due to other errors. So high crowd density is there, number of people per unit area. Then there are structural issues like lack of light or collapse of barriers, fire hazards, blocked exist, evacuation. There is no evacuation route. So poor design of hardwares. Let's suppose the barricade or the door. So all these structural issues are there for stampede to occur. Then there is a one more very important issue of cause of human psychology. So I will explain one incident. So in Hathras, UP, what happened? People rushed. It was a religious gathering, and people rushed to touch the preacher's feet and collect the soil from the path from where the preacher was walking. So this led to a very it was triggered by a craze that they want to access that thing, and they rush towards the path, the narrow path, and then stampede occurs. So triggering by craze is one aspect. Second aspect is when stampede kind of event happens, people forget the cooperative behavior of group. So if in such a scenario, cooperative behavior is important so that the management happens from where to allow the crowd to go out, where to stop. All these things needs a cooperation, group coordination, and this gets disturbed. This behavior, group coordination behavior gets disturbed in a panic situation like stampede. And that is why loss of more number of deaths happen. So human psychology is also important cause of stampede to occur. So there is one more cause of crowd control failure due to, let us suppose, underestimation of audience. Like what is the exact number of people that might be coming for such an incident. But more than that, I feel underestimation of behavior of the audience is one of the important aspect of causes for stampede. And this exactly happened in Bengaluru RCB victory period, because it was not expected that crowd will go crazy in such a manner and do the stampede. So this is one more aspect of causes of crowd. Then what are the NDMA guidelines for crowd management? So this chart is taken from NDMA website handout. So for crowd management, capacity planning, risk assessment, improved preparedness, incidence response, everything is very important. But to do that, we should analyze crowd at multiple levels. For example, what is the type of event? Let us suppose, what is the type of event? It is a religious gathering or political gathering, or is it a social gathering, sports gathering? This nature will determine what kind of crowd, what kind of management is required for that event. Then crowd expected, like let us suppose, what is the age of that crowd, gender, religion, economic strata of that crowd. Crowd motives, is it a social gathering or entertainment or political gathering or religiously charged rally? And then what is the venue, what is the location, is it a plain or hill, do the all open spaces available there or not? All the stakeholders, who are the stakeholders which are involved in this crowd management and the gathering. So all these analysis needs to be done in order to have a very good assessment of crowd management. So NDMA guideline says first is it is important to conduct a hazard risk vulnerability analysis. So there are normal things like do the capacity building, right? Capacity building, then crowd control, then develop a course of action. These are the NDMA guidelines. But these normal guidelines, you will definitely write it. But some technical guidelines, if you can write it, it will be helpful to make your answer stand out compared to others. So conducting hazard risk and vulnerability assessment, this focuses on shifting our focus from crowd control to crowd management. So these are two aspects. Crowd control is one aspect, crowd management is another aspect. Crowd control is a very passive knee-jerk response, that crowd is there and we need to control. But crowd management is a thing where we think about the pre-event scenarios, during the event scenarios, and post-event scenarios. So a multi-dimensional 360-degree analysis of crowd behavior, crowd footfall, crowd spaces, everything will happen, and then management is very important. So conducting hazard risk vulnerability analysis, HRVA, is important for any event. And then failure mode and effect analysis. So FME, what is this? So NDMA has recommended that all events organizers and planners should do that. For example, there is a methodology that severity, so possible hazard severity will be calculated, frequency of occurrence will be calculated, and this risk priority number will be calculated. So if higher is the severity, higher is the frequency of occurrence, and higher is this difficulty of detection of occurrence of stampede, the score will be assigned, and according to that NDMA has given certain actions and rules and regulations, so that can be implemented for that particular event. So these are the two technical things. Just pick a few keywords and write it as an NDMA guidelines for the crowd management, because question specifically comes, what are the NDMA guidelines for flood management, or let us suppose cloud burst management. These kind of questions have UPSC, not exactly these, but these kind of questions UPSC has asked previously. So then capacity building, yes, of course, there are designated physical and virtual locations. Each visitors must pass through barricades, then taggings, then zoning. All these things should be there for crowd management. Then course of action should be ready in the planner's hand to do the crowd management effectively. So these general points you can write. So then what is the way ahead? So let us talk about some of the best case studies across the world and how they are managing the crowd. So first is Stampede risk reduction framework. This is a very important thing where interagency, multidisciplinary approach will be followed, coordination will be emphasized, and hazard risk reduction will be there for Stampede kind of scenario. Medical readiness is a very important thing when it comes to crowd management. So rapid action medical teams are required, because we have seen that deaths are occurring due to injuries, fatality, due to injuries to neck, head, or chest, or the suffocation, right? So if medical team is there, even if the stampede occurs, the loss of life will be reduced. So there is this Oktoberfest occur in Munich, and which has 6 to 7 millions visitor across the year. So here it is managed in a very effective manner, and so this case study can be learned. Then better design and spaces of crowd, better design of spaces, and second is crowd nudging. So these two things are also important. So if the space where the crowd is getting gathered, if that is managed in a very effective way. Let us suppose there are multiple entry, multiple exit, evacuation route, emergency exit route, everything. So that better design of space will help in crowd management. And what is this crowd nudging? So there should be few corners, few activities where crowd will be distributed, and there will not be just gathering at a certain place. So this crowd nudging is very effectively done in Glastonbury Music Festival in UK. Every year, so many times this festival has occurred, and nudge psychology like signage, music, or staff cues has influenced the crowd behavior, and so stampede kind of events are not occurring. Then technology always is there to help in crowd management. So drone surveillances or use of RFID is very necessary. Singapore National Day Parade is a very good example of all these things. So there is a lot of people comes for this parade, and there is a use of smart wristbands, zone specific entry passes, and crowd density sensors are installed, so that if the crowd is getting overcrowded at some certain places, management will take place before occurrence of any unfortunate scenario. So this is very important, crowd density sensors. So this we can take from Singapore National Day Parade case study. Then interagency communication is extremely important. So whenever there is a huge gathering of event, there is a lot of departments, lot of agencies are involved. Smooth communication is very important for success of such a major event. So we have seen this in London Olympics 2012. A smooth, very seamless interagency coordination happened, and this became a case study for this crowd management angle. And then spatial and thermal comfort when planning events, and provide sufficient hydration facility. These are the normal suggestions which you can definitely give on your own also. So these were some of the way forwards which are important for crowd management. So I hope this content is very useful, and please download this handout from our Telegram channel. It is already uploaded, and see you soon in the next topic which is important from UPSC 2025 mains current affairs perspective. Thank you so much.